Progress isn't always loud, but it's real. The world makes us believe that growth should be dramatic, public victories, applause, and visible success. But real growth often happens in silence, in the moments no one sees. It's in the late nights when you're battling your own doubts, but still choosing to try again tomorrow. It's in the quiet mornings when you pick yourself up after failure and move forward, even though nothing seems to be changing. The truth is, progress doesn't always come with a big announcement. Sometimes it's the simple act of not quitting that defines it. You've learned lessons you didn't even realize you were learning, and every scar, every setback has been carving you into someone stronger than before. There's a beauty in the progress that nobody notices because that's where authenticity lives. When you're not doing it for recognition, you're doing it for transformation. You're not chasing validation, you're chasing peace, purpose, and stability. Every time you showed up for yourself when no one clapped, that counted. Every time you pushed through exhaustion, confusion, or heartbreak, you were making progress in ways that numbers, money, or followers could never measure. Because growth isn't about what the world can see. It's about who you're becoming when nobody's watching. That's the part most people will never understand, but it's also the part that matters the most. You've been through moments where you questioned if you were moving at all. You looked around and saw others winning, others celebrating, while you were stuck wondering why your effort felt invisible. But invisible doesn't mean ineffective. Just because it's not visible now doesn't mean it's not working. You're developing patience, resilience, and clarity, and those things don't show up overnight. Think of it like a seed underground. It's growing roots before it ever breaks the surface. You are that seed right now, preparing for your breakthrough, even if you can't see it yet. The silence of your progress doesn't mean failure. It means foundation. You've also learned to carry yourself differently. Once upon a time, certain words or setbacks would have broken you, but now you move with calm strength. You respond instead of react. You think before you act. That emotional control, that mental composure, that's growth. The fact that you no longer need to prove your worth to anyone, that you can walk away from what drains you, that you can forgive yourself and keep moving, that's growth too. You didn't get there overnight. And maybe you didn't notice it happening, but it's there. You've evolved in silence, and that's something to be proud of. When progress is quiet, it's easy to underestimate it. But the truth is, the loudest victories are often built on the quietest days. You've been doing the work behind closed doors, and eventually, that consistency will make noise on its own. Every day you wake up and choose to keep going, you're proving that you're not defined by speed or spotlight, but by endurance. Because what's built slowly, intentionally, and authentically lasts the longest. You are building something that will last, not a moment of success, but a lifetime of strength. So remind yourself, just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not happening. You don't have to prove your progress to anyone. You just have to keep moving, keep showing up, keep choosing growth even when no one notices, because one day they will. One day, the same people who didn't see your effort will wonder how you did it. And when that day comes, you'll know the answer. You didn't wait for noise. You trusted the quiet. You believed in your progress when it was invisible, and that belief became the foundation for everything you are becoming. You've already survived what was meant to break you. Think about that for a second. The very things that should have destroyed your confidence, your hope, and your will to keep going didn't win. You did. Every heartbreak, every loss, every moment when you thought, I can't do this anymore, you somehow found a way to take one more step. That's not luck, that's strength. You faced the kind of pain that could have turned you cold, bitter, or numb, but instead you let it shape you. You let it teach you who you are. That's what survival really is. Not just breathing, but learning to rebuild yourself when everything around you falls apart. You've already walked through storms that others couldn't even imagine. And here you are, still standing, still trying, still believing that there's something better ahead. You've learned things the hard way, and that's what gives you wisdom. Life didn't hand you an easy path. It handed you lessons disguised as losses, redirections that looked like rejection, and challenges that forced you to grow. You know what pain feels like, but you also know that pain doesn't last forever. You felt broken, but you also learned that broken doesn't mean finished. There were moments when the world went quiet, when no one showed up, and you had to become your own support system. You became your own reminder that you're capable of starting over, even from nothing. And that's powerful because once you realize you've rebuilt yourself before, you stop being afraid of breaking again. You start trusting your own ability to rise. Survival changes the way you see things. It teaches you to appreciate small peace, quiet mornings, and honest people. It makes you realize that life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about mastering the comeback. You stop chasing approval because you've already faced worse than being misunderstood. You stop fearing failure because you failed before and still found a way to keep moving. The past no longer feels like a wound. It becomes a map of how far you've come. You start seeing your scars not as reminders of what hurt you, but proof that you healed. Every single experience that once broke your heart was carving out a stronger, wiser, calmer version of you. The version that no longer panics when things go wrong because deep down, you know you've handled worse. And that's the truth most people overlook. Strength isn't loud, it's built in silence. It's built in those nights when you cried yourself to sleep, but still woke up and showed up the next day. It's built in those moments when you chose forgiveness instead of anger, growth instead of resentment, and patience instead of rushing. You didn't just survive the past, you transformed through it. You became someone who doesn't just endure, but understands. Someone who can sit in pain without losing faith, who can love again even after betrayal, and who can trust life again after disappointment. That's what it means to have survived. It's not just getting through it, it's becoming better because of it. So when life gets hard again, remember this: you've already beaten the hardest parts. You've already faced days when you thought it was over and still found light in the darkness. You've proven that your strength is real, not theoretical. The same resilience that got you through the worst days will carry you through what's next. You didn't come this far just to doubt yourself now. You came this far to realize how unbreakable you really are. You've already survived what was meant to destroy you. So what could possibly stop you now? Nothing. Because once you've learned that even your lowest point didn't defeat you, there's nothing left in this world that can. The hardest point usually comes right before the breakthrough. That's something people rarely understand until they've lived it. When everything starts to feel heavier, when you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and unsure of why you're even doing this anymore, that's often the universe testing your commitment to what you said you wanted. It's not punishment, it's pressure, the kind that forges strength. You see, every great story has that one moment when the hero is at their lowest, when everything seems impossible, when the dream feels out of reach, and that's exactly when things start to shift. That pressure you feel isn't a sign to quit. It's the signal that something's about to change. The closer you are to your breakthrough, the tougher it gets, because life wants to see if you truly mean it when you say, "I want this." It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, when the path is smooth and results are visible. But the real test of faith comes when nothing seems to be working, when every door feels locked and every step feels like a battle. That's the moment most people give up, right before it would have paid off. Because the truth is, your limit isn't real. It's just a point your mind creates to protect you from discomfort. But growth only happens beyond that limit. Every time you choose to push one step past the point of exhaustion, one step past fear, one step past frustration, you're expanding what's possible for you. And that's where breakthroughs are born. They don't come to those who coast, they come to those who endure. Think about any great achievement in your life. It didn't come easy, did it? There were moments of doubt, fear, and frustration that made you question everything. But looking back, those moments were necessary. They built your resilience, your patience, and your hunger. The hard parts are the training ground for your next level. They strip away comfort, ego, and illusion so that when your breakthrough arrives, you're ready to handle it. Because here's the truth. Sometimes the delay is protection. You're not being punished by waiting. You're being prepared. You're being refined so that when what you've been asking for shows up, you won't sabotage it. That's why the pain intensifies before progress. It's not breaking you, it's building you. There's a reason diamonds are made under pressure. Without the weight, without the heat, they remain ordinary stones. You're no different. The pressure you're under right now is shaping you into something extraordinary. You might not see it yet, but one day you'll look back and realize that this season, this heavy, confusing, painful season, was the very thing that made you unstoppable. The days you wanted to give up the most were the same days you were growing the most. Every tear, every setback, every unanswered prayer was part of the process. You weren't being ignored, you were being strengthened. So when you feel like you can't keep going, remind yourself that this is the point where most people stop. And that's exactly why you can't. You've come too far to quit at the edge of something great. You owe it to yourself to see what happens if you don't give up this time. Your breakthrough might not be visible yet, but it's closer than you think. The pain you're feeling right now is temporary, but the reward for your perseverance will last a lifetime. Keep pushing, keep believing, because the hardest point isn't the end of your story. It's the moment before everything changes in your favor. Discipline will carry you when motivation won't, because the truth is, motivation is fragile. It comes and goes depending on how you feel, what's happening around you, or how exciting the goal seems that day. But discipline, that's different. Discipline is the quiet decision to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The people you look up to aren't always motivated. They're consistent. They've trained their minds to act based on commitment, not emotion. You can't always control how you feel, but you can control whether you move. And that's what discipline is, a choice to keep going when motivation has left the room. When you rely on motivation alone, your progress becomes unpredictable. Some days you're all in, other days you're drained. That inconsistency keeps you stuck. But when you build discipline, you build stability. You create momentum that doesn't depend on mood. You stop waiting for the right time and realize the right time is whenever you choose to act. Discipline doesn't need excitement. It just needs a decision. It's doing the workout when you're tired, studying when you're distracted, showing up for yourself even when no one would blame you for resting. And slowly that discipline compounds. It turns into confidence because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're proving that you can trust you. That's how self-belief is built, not through hype, but through habits. There will be days when you wake up empty, when nothing feels inspiring, when the vision feels far away. That's when discipline matters most. Because the truth is, you're not always going to feel like it, and that's okay. You're human. But if you only act when you feel good, you'll never reach your potential. Growth lives in the moments when it's hardest to show up. The people who seem unstoppable aren't special. They've just mastered the art of not negotiating with their excuses. They don't wait for the perfect mindset. They move and let the mindset catch up. And that's a lesson worth holding on to. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You don't need to be the fastest or the strongest. You just need to be the one who refuses to stop. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It gives you control over your future because it builds habits that make success inevitable. When you're disciplined, you don't have to depend on fleeting motivation to make things happen. You wake up, you show up, you do the work. Some days will be great, others will be messy, but you keep moving forward anyway. That consistency rewires your brain to see challenges as normal, not intimidating. You stop overthinking every step and start trusting the process. You understand that results don't come from doing a lot once. They come from doing a little every single day. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel in the moment. It cares about who you're becoming in the long run. And the truth is, discipline will eventually give you what motivation never could. Peace. Because you'll no longer depend on external factors to feel driven. You'll know that no matter what life throws at you, you can rely on yourself to show up. That kind of self-trust is powerful. It's what turns dreams into habits and habits into achievements. So when the excitement fades, when motivation disappears, and when it feels easier to quit, remember this: discipline will carry you. It will walk you through the tough days, pull you through the slow ones, and remind you that consistency, not emotion, is what builds greatness. You don't have to feel ready to start, you just have to start, and let discipline do the rest. The future you is counting on you not to quit. Every decision you make today is shaping the person you're becoming tomorrow. It's easy to forget that when you're tired, frustrated, or unsure, but the truth is, your future self is being built in this exact moment. The habits you choose, the effort you give, the thoughts you nurture, they're creating a version of you that will either be grateful you kept going or disappointed that you gave up too soon. That future version of you, the one who finally feels peace, success, and fulfillment, is not waiting for a miracle. They're waiting for you to stay consistent when things get tough. Every time you push through instead of giving up, you're building their strength, their freedom, their life. Imagine the person you could become if you didn't let temporary pain make permanent decisions. The one who walks with confidence because they remember how hard the journey was but never stopped walking. That version of you already exists. It's just on the other side of your persistence. The choices you make right now are the bridge. When you quit, you're not just giving up on the present moment. You're cutting off the future that's depending on your resilience. The future you want to live without regret, to look back and say, I made it, instead of, I wish I hadn't stopped. Every time you think of giving up, remember that you're not doing this just for today's version of you. You're doing it for the one who's counting on you to deliver them to a better life. It's easy to think that quitting ends the pain, but it doesn't. It only delays it. Because one day, that regret of not finishing what you started will hurt more than the struggle of pushing through ever could. The effort you're giving now might not pay off instantly, but it will. Everything worth having takes longer than you want, but pays off more than you imagine. The future you doesn't need perfection, they need perseverance. They need you to stay in the game even when it's messy, even when you feel like you're not making progress, because all those small, imperfect steps add up. They compound into results you can't see yet. One day, that version of you will thank you for not giving up on them when it was hard. Think about what's waiting for you on the other side of consistency. Peace, confidence, freedom. The feeling of waking up and realizing you didn't give up when it mattered most. That kind of pride can't be bought. It's earned through grit and patience. You can't skip the struggle because it's what gives your success meaning. The version of you that has everything you want didn't get there by shortcuts. They got there by showing up on the days they wanted to quit. You're not just working for goals, you're working for growth. Every hard day is sculpting that future version of you, the one who walks with power because they earned every step. So, when you're in the middle of a storm and everything in you says to quit, pause and picture the future you. See their face, their peace, their joy. That's who you're fighting for. They need you to stay strong now so they can live freely later. Don't rob them of that victory. Don't trade a lifetime of pride for a moment of relief. You've come too far, and the person you're becoming deserves to see the finish line. The future you is counting on your strength today. So show them you're someone they can depend on. Keep going, because every step you take today is one less step they'll have to struggle for tomorrow.